Hey there guys, it's aarava here, today bringing you part 8 of my F1 2014 career mode, and we're here for the Austrian Grand Prix around the Red Bull Ring. And here in practice we've got an R&D test to do, so we've got some R&D testing that will hopefully improve the car, but at the same time we've also got to do some setup work because there is a chance of rain in qualifying and the race. More so in the race, there's I believe a 65% chance there on screen of rain in the race, so that's quite high, so that's pretty much guaranteed there will be rain at some point in the race, and 30% chance in the qualifying session, so not as much, but you know, we need to be prepared. So the setup needs to be, you know, good in the dry, but also able to give me maybe hopefully enough pace in the wet, although it is very tough in the wet on this game with the AI having some sort of natural traction control. Very tough to really keep up with them in the corners, out of the corners, you know, in the traction zones in the wet, but we'll do our best if it does rain. But in practice we came in first place, quite surprising, 6/10 up on Lewis Hamilton, so it appears the Legend AI are a bit slower around Austria than some other circuits. I noticed that in the preview build when I was doing other F1 2014 gameplays, that the AI seemed a bit slower around Austria compared to other circuits, probably because they're a bit less optimized for the circuit because it's new to the Codemasters franchise. So, you know, hopefully that will be improved for the next game, and you know, that, you know, we'll see an improvement from that. But let's get back to the action. So in Q1 we came first place, easy on to Q2 in the primes, and then on Q2 we went on to the super softs, obviously the option tires for this weekend, the Red Wall super soft tires, and we came first place in Q2. So now we're going to go into Q3, and in Q3 it was very interesting actually because it started raining at the beginning of Q3. It was just about dry enough to get in a dry lap, but you know, I literally had one flying lap, and then it wouldn't have been as optimum to go out on the circuit. So as you can see, we've cut onto our lap in Q3. This is literally the session started, I've done my fuel and then got out onto the track as fast as possible, and this is our first and only flying lap here in Q3 because, as you can see, it's spitting with rain, so the track is just going to get slower and slower as it's going to get colder, and eventually maybe towards the end of the session might be a little bit damp, so you may need the intermediate tyres. So this is our only flying lap, and now we've cut later onto the lap, onto the last sector, last few corners. As you can see, we've gone purple, but obviously no one has set a lap time yet. I'm the first to set a lap time. As you can see in the mini-map, the AI actually clumped together on the map, so that may hinder them. But here we go through the last corner, opening DRS onto the pit straight. Let's go across the line with a 109.7, so nice lap time there around Austria in this Williams powered Mercedes, and that was able to get us pole position, as you can see, by 300ths of a second from Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, and Rosberg in third place. So again, we've got pole position, 3 poles in a row. Obviously in Monaco, pole position didn't help us that much to get not get first place, and then in Canada obviously it did massively. So if you haven't seen those 2 episodes, do go check those out. You guys absolutely smashed the likes for both those episodes. It'd be awesome to see the same thing again for this one. Be absolutely amazing. Just really keeps me motivated to keep on pumping out these career mode videos. But yeah, we're on pole position. But as I said, you know, Monaco was a testament to, you know, being on pole doesn't always guarantee you're going to be fighting for the win. And, you know, in Canada we got, you know, very lucky, but also we had the pace. But we got a bit lucky with Hamilton crashing out at Canada. And also perhaps Rosberg and Ricciardo going a bit too long on their tyres and getting caught up in traffic. So we'll try our best to get first place in Austria. But I'm definitely under no illusion that it will be an easy win. You know, it's going to be tough if we can try and convert this pole to a win here at Austria. The AI are a bit slower in the dry, but if that rain comes down, remember 65% chance of rain, and that rain comes down, we are going to have a big fight on our hands because the AI are hand over foot much better than any player in the rain conditions. So we're on pole position. Let's look at the setup quickly and the strategy. I believe it should be a straightforward sort of option prime, but obviously the rain will come down at some point, so we'll have to look for that. I don't know when the rain will actually come. It looks quite overcast at the moment looking from outside the garage, so we'll see. But here is the setup, 6.5 wings. So normally I'd probably run 5.4, but I went for 6.5 due to the rain conditions and just the usual sort of setup on the rest of the balance and stuff like that. It's pretty much all standard for most tracks on this game. So now on the strategy, we're going obviously starting on the option tires, and then we're going to go to another set of options, and then we're scheduled to go on another set of options and then primes. But obviously the rain will come down at some point. If it doesn't come down, you know, now at the beginning, then it'll come down maybe in the middle towards the end. So I think going option to the end is the best way, because if the rain comes down at the end, then we've used the fastest dry tires possible the whole time in the dry, and then we can go into the intermediates. And if it falls a bit earlier, well, then we don't even have to worry about that. We'll be going to the intermediates and possibly possibly the wet tyres. So, you know, I think that's the best way to look at the strategy. So here we go onto the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. The first time we raced it in career mode. Here we go. Here's my beautiful white Williams on pole position. Lewis Hamilton in second place in the Mercedes, and Rosberg in third place, my teammate in 7th place. So let's see, here we go to 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix, part 8 of this F1 2014 career mode. Here we go, can we convert pole to a win like in Canada? We are off. The lights on for an age, but we've turned immediately to the right to cover off Hamilton. Rosberg looks like Rosberg's going to overtake Hamilton, so as we covered off his teammate, Rosberg has jumped, but it looks like he won't be able to get me through the first corner. AI going very slowly through the first corner, and we're up into first place. Normal stuff there on the start, and we're getting away now. Let's see how much we can get away from Rosberg. Hopefully we can not lose the lead before we make our first pit stop. We're going to try and go as long as possible on these option tyres. The pit stop range, I believe, you know, it says lap 7 for us on the engineers want us to go to lap 7. We'll try and stretch them out as much as possible, and so now we've cut onto lap 9. So as you can see, we have stretched it out. We've stretched it out by 2 laps more on these super soft tyres. Rosberg is really hampering me now. Right behind me, as you can see, Ricciardo into 3rd place, Hamilton down in 4th. So right now, Rosberg is fighting me for 1st place. He's actually been keeping me very honest indeed for these whole 9 laps. You can see the gap is only 4/10. He's been pretty much in that range for the whole 9 laps, so he did keep me honest. The AI not too great through the first corner if you're starting on pole, but definitely they can speed up after the first lap and really catch you, especially the Mercedes guys if you're on pole position. So Rosberg definitely did keep me honest for the whole 9 laps, but I didn't show you any of it because it was really just kind of defending and out-braking Rosberg into the braking zones if he did get anywhere close to me. But now we're into the pits now for the second set of option tyres. Now hopefully we will stay out in first place. Looks like all the AI are pretty much coming in the top kind of 8 range, so we will stay out in first. I was actually thinking maybe an AI would kind of stay out 1 lap longer and maybe undercut us, but that's not the case. So we're going to stay out in first place. Rosberg in second. I actually hit the pit wall as I exited, but yeah, Rosberg in second place. Vettel up to 3rd, so Vettel's jumped Ricciardo by doing an undercut on him, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see if Vettel's pace is good enough. Obviously Vettel very good at Canada, and he was right there to take second place at the end from Rosberg and Ricciardo in Canada on the last chicane. But now we've got onto lap 15. You can see the rain is coming down now. Very overcast weather right now here in Austria. The clouds are coming down. Very slippery now. You can hear the traction is getting a bit tricky here on the rear tyres, and the rain is definitely coming down. I think it will be time to pit for the intermediate tyres, perhaps even this lap or the next. We'll see. Rosberg, we've got a second gap to him, 1.6 actually gap to him, so we actually stretched it out to 2 seconds previously on this second set of option tyres. But as you're about to see, he's going to be closing in quite a lot because it's going to get very slippery in this section. Sector 2, it looks like this is where the waterfront is coming in. This is where the rain is coming because it's very slippery here in sector 2. You can see I lose the rear and the back end there, having to correct the oversteer, and Rosberg is catching up to me this whole time. You can probably see him in my mirrors just about. He's just getting ever closer and closer as a lot of understeer is happening, and again having to go opposite lock through that corner and through the left hand, having gone to 3rd gear and more opposite lock, even a lot more opposite lock, having to be patient on the throttle. And Rosberg is caught right up to me. He's right on the back of me. Will be trying to overtake me. He's going to maybe try around the outside, but no, thinks better of it. I'm going to go straight into the pits. Rosberg continues on the snap of oversteer yet again on the entry to the pit lane, but it's now time for me to go into the intermediate tyres. I think the AI have made a mistake. I think it's definitely time to go into intermediates now. Obviously saying that, they have that little bit of traction, so they can probably go 1 lap longer. But let's see. Hopefully we can maybe undercut Rosberg, because if the AI struggle a bit more than I did in sector 2 and sector 3 on this lap, then maybe I can definitely stay ahead in first place of Rosberg. So let's see, as we come out of the pits on lap 16, let's cut later on to the Grand Prix to see where we are onto the end of lap 16, on towards lap 17. All the AI in the pits, you can see on the mini-map, my teammate is in. Let's see where we go through down the pit lane. Let's see, Alonso in 8th place. Where are we going to be? Let's see. We climb up to 4th, 3rd. Will it be 2nd and 1st? Just about 1st through the first corner, so Rosberg very close to me. A lot of oversteer and opposite lock there through that first corner in 2nd gear, but Rosberg's in 2nd, Vettel's still 3rd, and I'm still managed to get in 1st place on lap 17. So now we've got quite a long way to go till the end of this Grand Prix, lap 36. 36 laps of this whole Grand Prix. We're only on lap 17, and a lot of oversteer, a lot of rear tyre spinning, as you can see there and probably hear from the gameplay. So we're going to have a very tough fight to try and stay in 1st place. The AI definitely have the pace pace in the wet and, you know, in the intermediate and full wet conditions. God forbid if it goes to full wet conditions. But then we're on to lap 18. The rain is starting to come down even more, so it might get to full wet conditions. So we may have some troubles later on in the Grand Prix. Let's see how it goes. Rosberg right now is 1.2 seconds behind me, just overtakes some back markers, so we're going to have to be wary of him on the traction coming up to this hairpin style corner. But now as we come to the hairpin, as you can see, we've got a back marker quite some way, but he completely stops on the track, and I've smashed into him and just did not expect him to park it that much on the track. That was Grosjean there in the Lotus, but as you could see, he was so far ahead of me. You know, he was a good, you know, we're talking, you know, 10 car lengths ahead of me at least, probably even more. You know, at least 3 braking zones ahead of me, and he just completely parked it on the racing line to let me by, whereas he could have easily have gone through the hairpin corner before I even got to him, and he could have let me pass on the kind of back DRS straight down to the next swooping section, which was just so stupid of him, and he's completely wrecked our race. We've got no front wing, and I can't believe we actually didn't get a puncture from that, or even, you know, kind of completely crashed out the race into the wall. So, very lucky to still be in the Grand Prix, but he's completely wrecked our race. We're coming to the pits. As we come into the pits, the Marussia gets stuck on us, of Bianchi, and he gets stuck into the pit lane, so we get a corner car off him. But we're down to 3rd place, 4th place indeed, and we're going to go even more down, obviously, because we're making our pit stop. And I've decided we might as well go on the full wet tyres, because you can see the rain is really coming down now. May as well try and gamble on it becoming full wet conditions. So we're going on the full wet tyres. But yeah, wow. Wow, if you guys want to watch that back, you can probably see what I mean by, you know, just the idiocy of Grosjean there. What was he doing? He was so far away from me. It just didn't compute to me that he would stop that fast and that rapidly on the racing line, and that's why it may have looked like I've just completely smashed straight into him without even, you know, thinking about moving out the way. It's because I literally thought that he couldn't have been that stupid to have just stopped straight on track, and I thought really he would have let me pass on the next straight. And honestly, also with some of the spray, it was a bit difficult to see him as well. So yeah, very annoying there. But let's get back to the gameplay. As we've been talking about that incident, Hulkenberg is trying to overtake me. He already overtook me once, but I re-overtook him down to the right-hander. Made a little bit of contact, so that was a bit unfair on me. But Hulkenberg's still right behind me, so I didn't gain too much off that. And also, as you can see right now, getting a lot of oversteer through this section on the full wet tyres, and Hulkenberg's able to steam right past me. So that is the AI over the player in the full wet conditions. The AI are really very, very good. It's very tough to beat them in full wet conditions, you know, unless you're gonna like get into 1st place and then just train the hell out of them. So on lap 22, we're gonna cut all the way to lap 36. Nothing happened. Unfortunately, we're only going to come through for 1 point in the championship. Sebastian Vettel wins the race. He was there, much like his teammate in real life, Ricciardo. He was there to pick up the pieces when I crashed out, and Rosberg obviously went a bit slower with Grosjean there in the incident, so he's picked up the win. Unfortunately, very upsetting that I've only got 10th place, 1 championship point when it could have been a whole 25. But yeah, that incident really cost us. You know, obviously, I'm not going to I'm not going to blame it all on Grosjean. I maybe should have looked a bit more ahead. That's what you're meant to do as a driver. But I honestly didn't think Grosjean would slow that much. You know, there was 3 braking zones between us, so I really didn't think he would try and let me through on that corner on the racing line. So that was a bit annoying. But 1 point, that means we go down to 5th place in the championship, but we're still within 38 points of the lead of Sebastian Vettel, who's now top, overtaken Hamilton by 6 points. So we're still in the fight. We can maybe try and still maybe ruffle a few feathers. I don't think we're going to be going for the championship, definitely not this season, but I think we can ruffle some feathers with Fernando Alonso and Ricciardo maybe. And maybe even Hamilton or Vettel if they get a bit loose and get a few bad spells. But if you guys enjoyed that video, then do leave a like. You guys have been absolutely amazing on the support on Monaco and Canada. It'd be awesome if we can continue that support. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the day. Again, give it a like if you did enjoy it. Comment below on what you thought. Subscribe if you're new for weekly F1. I'm going to try my best to do daily for the rest of the week. But I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed that episode. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.